Hey folks, it's Woody here at USA Made Blade, and we are here today to show off to you and introduce the new zero tolerance ZT0044. Look at that. Let's just kind of show this thing for a second. Let you take it in off that deep carry clip. Let's give you a hand grip here. Get all 4 fingers on that. We'll show more of that in a second. Let's give you some specs real quick, and then we'll jump into this thing. So we are S45VN steel. These are titanium handles. We are 100% a button lock flipper. We'll talk about that more in a second. Blade thickness, we are 0.121 inches thick on that blade. So little thin, nice, sharp, slicey knife. 7.55 inches overall length from top to bottom here, and then 4.35 inches closed, and we're weighing in at 3.4 ounces. So let's close this thing up. 3.4 ounces. It is definitely light. They have milled and put some lightning pockets, as Koenig calls them, on the inside of those tie scales. We do have a little blue collar here around that button lock, and then they did do it's kind of a bluish greenish. They've done this on some other knives in the past. So really good action on this button lock flipper. I have said before, I'll say it again, there's very few companies who do a really good job with a button lock flipper. Typically you're either getting a lot of blade play, which on these, you'll notice you got to really tug at it. You might notice just a hair, but I mean, honestly, they did a great job on it. So most of them, it's either blade play or there's no detent strength. Like when you go to push it, it's real soft. This one is not. This button lock is very, very snappy. You can open it by pushing the button lock and flipping your wrist, and do the same closing it. Or of course you have, and sorry, that's making me dizzy. I can't imagine what it'll do to you guys, but really good action on this. I mean, excellent and strong detent. I'm pulling at that pretty darn hard and it's not going anywhere. I have tried doing the snap opening and it won't break that detent part of it. So great job. I mean, it is, like I said, there are very few button locks out there that I think are really well done, and ZT is now included in that category. ZT is definitely known for one thing, and that is attention to detail. They really do a good job with their finishes and all those little details. Typically, ZT just knocks that out of the park. Kind of trying to figure out how to talk about this knife. It is a little complicated. So what we're going to do, instead of me fumbling about trying to talk to you guys about it here, let's go through and compare it to some other knives, and then maybe during that or after that I can talk about some other details with this knife. But let's set this thing down here and just get started with it. So let's jump in. Let's do some ZTs first. So here's the ZT0990. As you can tell, about the same blade length, maybe just a hair longer on the 44. Really close in overall handle length. Just a completely different design, though, if I'm being honest. Let's flip that over. Look at it from this side. So very, very similar in overall size. I know it's kind of a different one to start with, but we'll jump in from there. Let's give you another full tie ZT knife. So let's put in the ZT0562 tie. This is the newest one in Magna Cut. So you can really see the size difference here. So you're looking at that 3.2 inch blade versus that 3.5. You're looking at definitely a longer handle here, more width across or width across the face of the handle. So definitely quite some differences. They're going to look a little closer at this angle and size, but that gets you up here. I think this is one of the ones that probably one of the ZTs we've sold the absolute most of has been the 562 tie. So that's one I really like to give you a good comparison shot. So you can tell that handle's definitely longer, the blade's definitely longer. Let's fold these up. So a little more width across the back of it on the 5.62 tie. So hopefully that gives you some good comparison there. Let's move on from there. Let's keep with ZT. We have sold, I'm dropping stuff. We have sold a ton of these, and I hate that it's been discontinued, but I will give one last shout out to the ZT0308. This is our LMF model with the OD canvas micarta. Really no comparison here. I mean, one's a beast, one's more of a an office carry, or a daily carry. One's kind of your weekend tear it up and can't hurt it carry. So but still thought I had to kind of show them together. Let's do this number here. I mean, the entire knife closed is quite a bit smaller than even the handle on the 308. So let's jump in next. I believe this is the 0357. So one of the things that I want to discuss with this knife, and we'll get into more, is that some people say this is very Kershaw looking. To me, this is more Kershaw looking, but this is the ZT0357. Very, very similar in overall size, really are. But very much different knives. I mean, this one's the liner lock with the speed safe on it. So kind of hard to compare them, but had to throw it in there. So speaking of Kershaw, I am going to throw in a Kershaw link. So definitely some Kershaw-esque to this knife, which is not a surprise. But a lot of people are saying it looks absolutely like a Kershaw. Maybe a link, maybe a dividend, something in that range. I can see a little bit of it, but a Kershaw, it is not. I mean, a Kershaw is going to use typically a lesser steel. Kershaws are going to be aluminum frames. Most of them are well, they're either aluminum frames or steel frames. So it's but the companies are sister companies, I guess you could say. So I can see why people would say there's some similarities. Let's throw in Chris Reeve knives and Cosi. Not much of a comparison here. I wish I had a small Nkosi or a small Sabenza to show you, but I thought I'd just throw that in there. And then let's throw in a Hinder XM18 3-inch. Realistically, I mean, you get just a fraction of more blade, and definitely a different handle. Not much of a comparison here, but let's kind of show these off. Thickness here across the back, they're about dead even. And I'm showing that more to give you an idea that this is more overbuilt than I think it's being touted. And sorry if my pronunciations are bad, or if I'm talking a little funny. I'm still dealing with this horrible cold, and I'm still deaf as a doorknob. So here it is with the tactile turn. This is the Rockwall. I kind of feel like this was the most comparable. And I put this one in here, and I'm doing this last because I think one of my biggest irritations with ZT on this, if I have a bone to pick, which this is pretty stupid bone to pick, but is that they're touting this more as a gentleman's carry. I can see a lot of the knives, definitely the most recent, the Auto coming in here. That's a gentleman's carry. That's a very, to me, that is a very small, light, thin knife. Carries very thin in the pocket. So this is definitely a gentleman's carry to me. I can see that. I've called this one a tuxedo carry. But when you get into this is the tactile Rockwell is more of a gentleman's carry as well. This is more, how do I describe this? Let me start by getting mine out here. I used mine today to break down 65 boxes. I wouldn't do that with a gentleman's carry. So it's definitely a very capable knife. This to me is a great office carry. It's a, God, I'd carry this knife for just about any use. And especially if you're doing something that you don't want to have a bigger, bulkier knife in your pocket. It rides really nice in the pocket with the deep carry clip. It really does. It's like it's not even there. The action on it's really good, but it is a big enough blade and a big enough handle. Like I said, I mean, I've got big hands, no problem getting all 4 fingers on there. Really good action on it. This knife is capable. It's definitely still fits that ZT mantra of overbuilt, well done. Is it the overbuilt like the 308? No, it is not. But this is a knife with the finishes, the full tie, the S45 blade, the little touches on it, the lightness of it, but it's still very, very capable. So it's not a knife that I'd be afraid to carry and really put to work on some task. So if I'm being honest, that's probably my one complaint. But I think ZT did a great job with this. I think for $340, when you consider the materials, the milling on the scales to lighten the weight, the deep carry clip. Oh, that's something I want to note. The deep carry clip, the screws are actually recessed in there. So I know on a lot of the older models, when you had the deep carry clip, the screws had the little heads and would catch on the pocket. So ZT did a good job of fixing that. But it carries really well. Carries very nice in the pocket. Very easy to get your keys and other things behind it that are deeper in the pocket. So I think ZT did a really good job here. So all in all, I'm impressed. We do have these in stock. They just released them a few days ago. Sorry it took us a little time to get the video up, but it's been a crazy week with the new Nick Nichols drop. But we hope you guys will check these out. Like I said, I'm impressed with it. I hope you will be too. And they're available now at usamadeblade.com. And as always, thanks for watching.